Take a slow, gentle breath in, allowing the cool, quiet air to fill your lungs. Hold it for just a moment, and then let it drift away as softly as a feather carried on a summer breeze. With every breath, feel the weight of the day becoming lighter. The thoughts that have followed you from one moment to the next begin to settle, like tiny leaves floating down onto the surface of a still pond. There is nowhere you need to be now. Nothing you need to solve. Nothing you need to remember. For these next little while, you are simply here, safe, comfortable, and gently carried by the rhythm of this story. Now imagine yourself standing at the edge of an ancient forest unlike any you have ever known. Before you stretches a narrow path, so old that it seems to belong more to the earth than to the people who once walked upon it. Soft moss grows over smooth stones, delicate ferns lean across its edges, and tall trees rise high above, their branches weaving together into a living ceiling of green. No map has marked this path for generations. Travelers rarely speak of it. Those who have wandered near often remember only the peaceful feeling it left behind, as though the forest quietly chose to keep its own secrets. You take your first slow step. The ground beneath your feet is soft with countless years of fallen leaves. Their gentle scent fills the cool air, carrying hints of cedar, pine, damp earth, and fresh rain that must have fallen sometime before dawn. Another step. Then another. Behind you, the busy world begins to fade without effort. The distant noise of roads, clocks, and hurried voices slowly melts into silence until all that remains is the quiet music of nature. A breeze slips through the branches overhead. Thousands of leaves answer together with a soft whisper, a sound so gentle it feels almost like a welcome. You continue deeper into the forest. Sunlight filters through the towering trees and scattered ribbons of gold, touching patches of emerald moss and clusters of tiny white flowers growing beside the path. Every few moments, a butterfly glides lazily through the light before disappearing among the ferns. Somewhere nearby, a small stream sings over smooth stones. Its peaceful melody seems to walk beside you. The air feels wonderfully cool here. Every breath carries the refreshing scent of pine needles and wild herbs growing unseen beneath the trees. It is the kind of air that makes every inhale feel clean and every exhale feel lighter. As your footsteps settle into a slow rhythm, you notice something curious. The forest does not feel empty. It feels quietly alive. Not with excitement or urgency, but with patient kindness. An old oak stretches its enormous branches toward the sky, its bark covered with soft moss and tiny patches of silver lichen. It has likely stood here for hundreds of years, watching the seasons come and go without ever needing to hurry. Nearby, a family of deer quietly grazes in a small clearing. They lift their heads for only a moment as you pass, their calm eyes meeting yours before returning peacefully to the grass. Nothing here seems afraid. Everything belongs. You follow the winding trail as it bends gently around ancient stones wrapped in emerald moss. Some are as small as stools, while others rise like forgotten monuments, their surfaces softened by centuries of rain, sunlight, and quiet winters. The deeper you walk, the softer the light becomes. Above, the branches weave together so closely that they create long, peaceful shadows dancing across the forest floor. Small birds sing hidden among the leaves. Their songs are simple, unhurried, like tiny conversations carried on the breeze. Time itself begins to feel different. You are no longer thinking about minutes or hours. Instead, you notice little things. The gentle sway of tall grasses. A single feather resting upon the path. The sparkle of dew on spider silk stretched between two fern leaves. Each detail invites you to slow down just a little more. After a while, the narrow trail becomes even older. Grass grows between weathered stones that once formed a careful walkway. Their edges have become smooth beneath countless forgotten footsteps. Who walked here long ago? You cannot say. Yet somehow the question does not ask for an answer. It simply drifts through your thoughts before floating away like a leaf upon the stream. Soon you come upon a weathered wooden sign leaning gently against an ancient maple tree. Time has faded almost every letter, Moss blankets much of its surface, while tiny vines curl softly around its edges. Only a few carved words remain visible. The quiet way. The rest has been claimed by the forest. You smile gently and continue forward. The path narrows once more before opening into a peaceful meadow surrounded by towering pines. Wildflowers sway together in shades of lavender, pale blue, and creamy white, filling the air with a delicate fragrance carried by the afternoon breeze. You pause for a moment. The silence here is unlike any silence you have ever known. It is not empty. It is full. Full of gentle wind. Full of birdsong. Full of flowing water. Full of quiet life continuing exactly as it always has. As you leave the meadow behind, the forest begins to change ever so slightly. The trees grow older. Their trunks wider. Their roots twist across the earth like slow rivers frozen in wood. Then, almost without noticing why, you feel the quiet certainty that you are drawing closer to somewhere special. Not because you can see it. Not because you can hear it. But because the forest itself seems to be guiding you, one peaceful step at a time. And somewhere ahead, hidden beneath these ancient branches, waits a place that the world has almost forgotten. The forest seems to breathe with you now. Each slow inhale welcomes the cool fragrance of cedar, pine, and rich earth. Each gentle exhale leaves behind another small piece of the busy world, until your thoughts become as light as the drifting seeds carried on the afternoon breeze. The narrow path continues ahead, curving softly between ancient trees whose great trunks have stood here longer than anyone can remember. Their bark is rough beneath blankets of emerald moss, and delicate vines wind upward toward branches that disappear into a canopy of endless green. A tiny squirrel pauses upon a fallen log. It watches you for only a moment before continuing its quiet search among scattered acorns, as though it has already decided that you belong here. You smile without thinking. It feels nice to be accepted so easily. A few more peaceful steps carry you deeper into the woodland. The sunlight has changed again. Instead of bright beams reaching the forest floor, it now arrives as a gentle glow filtering through thousands of leaves, painting everything with soft shades of gold and green. Dust-like particles drift lazily through the air, sparkling whenever they pass through a ribbon of light. It almost feels as though the forest is filled with tiny floating stars. The breeze carries another sound. Not the stream. Not the birds. Something softer. Somewhere ahead, hidden beyond the trees, wooden wind chimes sing quietly together. Their notes rise and fall so naturally that they seem less like music and more like another voice of the forest itself. You cannot tell where the sound begins. It simply surrounds you. You continue walking. The path begins climbing a gentle hillside. Moss-covered stones form natural steps beneath your feet, each one carefully placed by nature, or perhaps by hands so long ago that no memory of them remains. At the top of the rise, you pause. Before you stretches another quiet clearing. Unlike the first meadow, this one is shaded by enormous beech trees whose silver trunks catch the light with a peaceful glow. Wildflowers bloom freely beneath their branches, their colors soft rather than bright: lavender, pale yellow, creamy white, and gentle shades of blue. Hundreds of butterflies drift from flower to flower. They move without hurry, without purpose beyond simply existing. Watching them, you feel your own heartbeat slow just a little more. Near the center of the clearing rests an old wooden bench. Its surface has weathered to a soft gray, and thick moss cushions its arms. Tiny flowers have rooted themselves beneath its legs, as though nature has lovingly adopted it over the passing years. You sit for a while. The wood feels pleasantly cool. Around you, the forest continues its quiet conversation. Leaves whisper. Branches sway. Water flows somewhere unseen. A robin sings a cheerful melody before another answers from farther away. There is no audience. No performance. Only life unfolding exactly as it always has. You close your eyes for a single peaceful breath. When you open them again, the world somehow feels even gentler. The colors appear softer. the light warmer, the silence deeper. You stand and continue onward. Soon the clearing fades behind you, and the ancient path returns beneath your feet. Now you begin noticing little signs that people once cared for this place. A low stone wall stretches quietly beside the trail, its rounded rocks stacked with remarkable patience long ago. Small patches have collapsed over time, allowing ferns and moss to weave themselves between every crack. Nothing feels broken, only transformed. Farther ahead, an apple tree grows beside the path. Its branches arch gracefully over the trail, heavy with small golden fruit. Several apples rest upon the moss below, untouched except by curious birds. One falls gently from a branch. It lands with the softest sound imaginable. You pick it up. Its skin is smooth and warm from the filtered sunlight. The sweet fragrance reminds you of quiet autumn afternoons and homemade pies cooling beside an open window. Taking a small bite, you discover it is crisp, juicy, and wonderfully fresh. You cannot help but wonder, who planted this tree? Who cared for it all those years ago? And how does it still flourish here, hidden so deeply within the forest? The questions feel comforting rather than urgent. Not every mystery asks to be solved. Some simply ask to be appreciated. You continue walking beneath increasingly ancient trees. Their roots rise gently from the earth like slow-moving rivers frozen in time. Some form natural arches across the trail. Others cradle small pools of rainwater so still that they perfectly reflect the leafy ceiling above. You pause beside one of these quiet pools. For a moment, you see only the sky reflected within it. Then a single leaf drifts down. Tiny ripples spread outward in perfect circles. The reflection shimmers, then becomes calm once again. Watching the water settle, you notice how easily nature returns to peace. Perhaps your own mind can do the same. Step by step, breath by breath, thought by thought. The forest continues inviting you towards stillness. Ahead, the trees begin to thin. Not enough to reveal what lies beyond, but enough for a different kind of light to appear. It is warmer, gentler, as though sunlight is reflecting from something hidden just beyond the last line of towering pines. Then you notice another small detail. The air has changed. Mixed with the familiar scent of cedar and moss is something new. Fresh bread. Warm. Comforting. As though somewhere nearby, someone has just opened the door of a bakery, allowing the aroma of freshly baked loaves to drift lazily through the afternoon air. You stop for a moment and breathe in deeply. The fragrance is unmistakable. It brings with it memories of welcoming kitchens, crackling fireplaces, and peaceful mornings where no one needed to rush. Yet that makes little sense. You have not seen another traveler for hours. The forest has felt wonderfully empty. And still, the scent remains. Soft, fresh, inviting. Curiosity gently stirs within you. Not the restless curiosity that demands answers, but the quiet kind that simply smiles and takes another step. And then another. The trees ahead slowly begin to part. Between their ancient trunks, almost hidden beneath curtains of hanging ivy, you catch the first glimpse of something made not by nature, but by careful human hands. Only the very top is visible. A weathered rooftop. Its old wooden shingles glow softly beneath a blanket of moss, as though the forest has spent centuries protecting it instead of reclaiming it. You pause. The breeze grows wonderfully still. The birds continue singing. The scent of warm bread lingers in the air. And somewhere, just beyond the trees, a quiet bell rings once, as if welcoming you to a place that has been patiently waiting for your arrival.